Jerry was instrumental in saying, hey, you guys need to raise some berries. And so that's how our relationship with Jerry actually started. And it worked out really good.
I've known Jerry for over 30 years. You know, he was just a really good friend, good farmer, very good family man, dedicated, and he was always helping somebody.
I would tag along with Jerry and my grandpa when they'd go to lunch and just mainly be the fly on the wall and listen to them talk about farming, and they really bounced knowledge off of each other, and I was fortunate enough to get to sit around and listen to that. Jerry and I became closer, and he could tell I had a passion for farming, and there was nothing that Jerry did that I didn't do. I was pretty much in his back pocket, and I spoke little, listened a lot, and did whatever he told me to do.
We ended up raising raspberries and strawberries and blackberries, and Jerry was instrumental in helping us get started with all of those. He loaned us his equipment, and we worked back and forth, and whenever I had a problem with my equipment, he's always the first guy I went to say, hey, what's wrong with this? And he'd usually come over and help me fix it. So I really appreciated that. So
he taught me more things than just farming. I mean, he had a wealth of knowledge, especially when it gets into the mechanical world. He had a whole nother career before farming of building things that went fast, and so I was able to tap into a little bit of that knowledge too, of learning a little bit on the mechanical side. And he was a wealth of knowledge there. Anything that was broke, Jerry could fix, and he did often for everybody he knew.
He could fix anything or whatever, build a new part or whatever, you know. You have trouble, I can't get this, well, come on in down, sit down here, and he'd fire up the lathe and turn you out a new product, so, yeah.
You know, I would say Jerry was absolutely a master mechanic, and there was nothing that he couldn't work on, and if he hadn't worked on it, he would jump in and work on it, and you could never pay him for it. I mean, he just did it out of the goodness of his heart.
And Mr. Jerry gave me the chance to join the team, and then I started tractor driving and taking care of all the fields, like spraying, and I learned a lot of stuff working on the farm, and I'm glad that he gave me the opportunity. Yeah, he was a really nice person. And he always treated us like a family. And I remember when lunchtime, he'd take us eat lunch almost, not every week, not every day, but you know. And yeah, he was a good guy. It was nice to work for him.
He went way above and beyond for the people, you know. He appreciated the help, and he had the church there, and he didn't have to do that, you know. It was just out of his heart.
I do think that's a quality about him. Maybe a lot of people don't know that, you know, when he'd bring his crews into work, I mean, they didn't have food, he'd feed them. If they didn't have shoes, he'd buy them shoes. They needed coats and rain gear. You know, I always thought he treated his people more like family than laborers. So I think that says mostly what I think about how he treated his people, which was first class.
He always was trying to help the smallest farmers around this area, and I think he was a leader on the berry stuff, because it's coming harvest time, and he always on the phone, you know, talking to the canneries, or I don't know who he talks to, but he's always busy on the summertime when the harvest start coming up. He's on the phone almost all day. He was a busy man.
Jerry was good at getting a group of growers in Southwest Washington to market their fruit together. You know, he's the guy that really liked to get down the nitty-gritty and getting the nuts and bolts of it, and really fight for that extra couple cents a pound. I always appreciated that he went that extra mile for all the guys that were marketing their fruit with him.
I went to Jerry's funeral, and one thing that I knew I had a good relationship with Jerry, and I knew my relationship was extremely close. You know, every person that got up had that special relationship with Jerry. They would all say Jerry was a great friend to them. That's how Jerry made every single person feel, is he cared about him, he took time for him and made him feel special. And I'm one to say that I was fortunate to absorb a lot of that.
You know, I always considered him just sort of part of the farming family that you have. Farmers have that. They have their farms, they have their families, and then they have their farming families. And those are the neighbors that are right next door to you. And you may not talk to them every day, but there'll be that time where you pull up on the road, they pull up on the road, and you have that quick 5-minute chat. And with all the farmers in the Woodland Bottoms, I've had that relationship. I really had that with Jerry, and I always enjoyed seeing him every day.